stand to my feet now because Queen, do I need to stand up now? And there you go.
God bless. Good afternoon, Dad. How are you, sir?
Fine, and how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. No complaints here.
Good.
Yes, sir. So here we are, episode 4, season 2, chatting with the Clays. And I'll open this one simply by saying the people have spoken. Last episode, we had a wonderful opportunity just to look into some biblical examples. Hey, Mom.
Hello.
Some biblical examples and figures. I'm sorry, she's so dazzling. I was just distracted. Where are my notes? We're looking into some biblical figures and trying to find a creative way to inspire people to pursue some devotional and Bible study, and maybe some directions that either they haven't thought about before or maybe needed to be brought back to mind. So we did that in the format of a biblical dream team. And as I said moments ago, the people have spoken. So this episode, we are going to come right back around that concept to a biblical dream team. And this will be Biblical Dream Team Part 2. So, Mom, I know you are privy to the format that we went at before, but now we have a 3-way round robin opportunity where Dad.
So the WNBA is included now.
Wait a minute, though. For the record, I was picking my biblical dream team without respect to gender. I was just going with my dream team. You know, I wasn't following gender lines. I'm just looking at traits and characteristics that I look up to and I'm inspired by and I could model. So my team, and I'll run that 5 back down to you all. On my biblical dream team, I had Joseph, Peter, Lydia, Mary Magdalene, and Elisha. That was my biblical dream team last week. Dad's biblical dream team was David, Hosea, Moses. He cheated and got John the Baptist. And Jude. And I mean, I had Peter, so you know.
Who was the last one? Jude?
Jude.
Yes, indeed. So for this edition, part 2, all 10 of those biblical persons are off limits. Now, as you remember, what we're going to do is go in order, and we're going to trade off. We're going to do, and because there's 3 of us, we really got to stay pretty tight with our descriptions of why we pick these persons. So we're going to have to get in and out with 3 people. But what I'll also do is, instead of going with 5, we're going to do 3 apiece. Okay? So we will each select 3 biblical figures, people we look up to for different characteristics and traits that we can learn from. And I hope that our viewers are inspired.
Why are you going to cut our teams down?
Time. We got 3. So it was 10 between the 2 of us. It'd be 15 between the 3 of us. So I got to go down to 3 each.
Well, you just have to shorten the comments. Stick with 5, shorten the comments.
Mom, I'm looking at you. He's baiting me here. He's baiting me. Let's go back to the footage.
This is not going to be a good team.
It's going to be a great team.
Oh, mine will.
It's going to be a great team.
Mine will.
Cut the comments down.
I don't know if you struggling with your 3, but my 3 will be great, you know.
And my 3 will be great. And I mean, however, I'm flexible because I know the rules. I knew the rules. Now, when I was in high school, we played 3-on-3 basketball.
Oh.
So, you know, I can go 3-on-3 or 5-on-5. It makes no difference. I know the rules to both games.
Duck, Clay. Duck. See, no. Clay's the trash talkers. We're competitive with everything. We be speed walking in the mall, you know, just who walking faster, you know.
You know, exactly.
You know what I'm used to? I'm used to letting the youngsters play out their emotional feelings. So.
Oh, so you know what? That's me then.
That's right. Shots fired. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. So everybody, we are going to do our biblical dream team. We hope and pray that you all are inspired by the figures we select, as these are people we are inspired by. We will select not the greatest. We're not ranking in any way the greatest figures of the Bible, but just a particular ensemble that inspires us with their traits, their characteristics, and their stories. So we will alternate 1, 1, 1. Mom, we will have you start. And just as a reminder to the audience, since Dad and I took this exercise forward last week, 10 people are already off the board, really 11. You can't select Jesus. That's cheating. You just can't. That's the cheat code. So David, Hosea, Moses, John the Baptist, Jude are off the table. That was Dad's 5 last week. Joseph, Peter, Lydia, Mary Magdalene, and Elisha are off the table. That was my 5. So with this part 2, Mom will have you open up. Who is the first of the 3 people on your dream team, biblical persons that have inspired you by their traits, their characteristics, and their stories? So we'll go with you to start off, Mom.
Okay, now this is the only time I'm going to add extra commentary, because my extra commentary is a preface.
Okay.
So, you know, and looking at the team, my team, the scripture lets us know that the race is not given to the swift nor to the strong, right? So I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for endurance on my team. So with that, Deborah, I'm choosing Deborah because Deborah's strength was knowing how to use not only the tool of knowledge, but the tool of support. A lot of times it's not about being the first or being the head, but a lot of times the head is strengthened by the support they have. When you're building a team, if you have a good support system, a lot of times they can launch you. Man, you're looking at my he's looking at my team.
No, I was really wanted to reflect on the ones we already had.
Oh, the ones you had?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right.
But see, they blame Jesus. So you know, who am I?
There they go. Every time we talk about boxing, there they go. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So Deborah had the wisdom, she had the courage, and she had the strength to fight the battle.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Because now you said you were encouraging people to, you know, to study these.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So I won't give off too much, but if you take those key points and study Deborah, you'll see she was most powerful, again, in her strength, her wisdom, and her support in going to battle.
Fair. Strong pick. That was actually my first pick. But you know, I wrote it down. I can prove it. I had her on there.
Wow.
But that's all right. That's quite all right. So I'll nod and say, well played. Okay.
All right.
Dad?
Are you gonna call me in?
Unless you prefer me to go, because I'm fine with that. I could get some heavy hitters off the board if you want me to go first, but go ahead.
Habakkuk. And there's always something about what we have 5 senses that regulates the human man.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something about the psycho man, the psychic side. Everyone does not get it through one avenue. And sometimes you have to have multiple things present to deliver to people what you would have them to receive.
Mm-hmm.
So I need somebody that's able to articulate in a more excellent way than I can. Sometimes the coach can, sometimes we can be kind of hard. We can be harsh. Sometimes how we say things, where we do things can be misconstrued, you know, and some players can clam up because they think they're feeling that they're getting picked upon. Yes, you passed the ball last. I don't know what you was doing. You was on a crazy page. And your mind wasn't in the game, and you could have cost us the game. So I'm gonna bring Habakkuk in because Habakkuk can write it out, write the vision, make it plain. So I need somebody that's able to put it down in pen, because
All right, coach.
me verbally telling you, you just don't get it. And see, Habakkuk has the ability to go and upload the viewing from last game. And so they have the technology to where, you know, he has a touch screen, so he can walk up to it and replay it, and then he can write it out, you know, in demonstration, you know, the arrows and the X's and circles to show people where they were at. So I got to have somebody to articulate in a better way than me.
Okay, that's a good pick. That's a good pick. That was a stealth pick, but that's a good pick. With my first pick, my now first pick, since Deborah was taken off the table, and I'm probably not saying this right. I believe her name is Jochebed. Jochebed is actually Moses's mother, right? Or Moses' mother.
Mm-hmm.
She is my first pick. And I think we often underrate a couple of her characteristics. If you recall, the firstborn males were being slaughtered. The Hebrew firstborn males were being slaughtered by decree of the Pharaoh.
Mm-hmm.
And Jochebed, Moses' mother, could have had a number of responses. Clearly, she wanted to preserve the life of her child. Clearly, she had faith and didn't just surrender and lay down and say, there's no way I'm gonna overcome this. It's me against a powerful Pharaoh and his army. I'm just gonna go ahead and lay down and this is gonna happen. There's nothing I can do about it. She had a number of options that she could have selected. She could have ran and taken her child with her.
Mm-hmm.
She could have stayed and fought. She could have exercised her prayer in a different direction, but she exercised her faith and sent Moses via the river. And Moses, as you know, was intercepted by the Pharaoh's daughter, right? Or was it Pharaoh's wife? See, I got to dust that off. I thought it was the Pharaoh's daughter. Was it Pharaoh's daughter?
Pharaoh's daughter.
I thought so. I want to make sure. I got to dust that one off. See, this is our own devotional. We got to dust off. But what I really loved about her, not only she had the faith to put the game in the hands of the person who could deliver the victory, which is God. She put the game back in his hands. She didn't try to stretch out her skill set. She didn't just throw up a Hail Mary prayer shot, you know. She said, Lord, I'm just going to put it in your hands. And she physically put it in his hands. And by God's divine purpose, she ended up raising Moses inside Pharaoh's house, which is the second trait I love about her, and I end my comments here. She knew how to keep her mouth shut. God can do some wonderful, miraculous things for us. He may have promised us some things. He may have put us in a position to accomplish and achieve certain things. But there comes a point in time where you can't talk about it, where you shouldn't talk about it, where God's purpose and his plan is more important than the accolades and the affirmation that you get from sharing the testimony prematurely. So I love the fact that not only she put the game in the hands of the MVP, who clearly could deliver the victory, but she also knew how not to give the play away. She also knew how not to give the game plan away. So Jochebed, I believe Jochebed, Moses' mother, is my first pick.
That was Jochebed, but yeah. Good move. Good move. Well, these are some power plays here.
I do my scouting. I do diligence in my scouting.
What position did she play?
She, to me, was our playmaker.
Okay.
She knew how to decide whether she should take the shot or put it in the hands of the person who could make the shot.
Who could make the shot.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
She was a playmaker, or in football terms.
I just thought I'd ask. I'm gonna ask Rebecca. Was she the one? Was that the one that was coming out of his office? I just wanted to make sure.
There they go. Okay. We'll see. Okay, so Mom, second pick.
Anna. Everybody looks at her as being Anna the prophetess, but again, I look at where her strength lies. Her strength was in her great faith and her praying, and she prayed through until the results came. And even being on the team, you have to know how to have the stamina. And there's stamina in waiting and praying. The scripture lets us know that, again, impatience possesses your soul. So sometimes you have to be patient, but while you're being patient, there's something to be done in your patience. And she knew that she had to pray through in the temple. And even though her life dictated something different, she didn't lose her faith in God and who God was. So she had the faith and she had the stamina, again, to see the team through.
Dad, you got a fight on your hands. That is a great second pick, and traits that are MVP caliber. They say the greatest ability is availability.
Mm-hmm.
So that stamina to keep you available.
Well, since you want to do that one.
That was my mom did that.
No, I mean, you're it looked like to me that y'all have already went into the same room together and decide y'all want to.
Well, but I mean,
we're competing. I'm just respecting greatness. That was a great pick,
Yeah,
I'm glad.
And I'm coming in cold, so I didn't really. I had
sweats on.
I did, yeah,
Okay.
I didn't even get to gear up for the game. I'm coming in cold. I'm coming in off the bench.
Oh.
Because I was redshirted during the first game, so I'm just saying.
Wow.
Okay, I think my team is still in here. Yeah.
Hey,
I have
see that is Habakkuk your coach, or is he like a player coach? Because you're talking about someone who wrote out plays and can articulate the vision. Is he a coach? Because I didn't even think about that. You selected potentially a coach as a pick. So do you have him playing, or is he a coach?
Well, actually, he's dual. We're going into a new venture.
He's a player coach. Okay, like Bill Russell. Yeah.
Like Michael Jordan.
Yeah. Oh, there they go. Floor general. Okay, I didn't mean to distract you. I
thought I'd go ahead and just pass it on to you.
Okay.
I have Solomon. And what I like about Solomon he he canvases 3 different areas that a team needs. First of all, he has the ability to handle business. And so with the team, you got to have a business person on board. So I called him because he is able to cover the 3 areas that our team needs. We had some problems last season that we had. We didn't get our picks. We was down in the double-digit numbers to get our pick. And so we sent out our scouts, but because of technicalities, we weren't able to get our players into the 3rd round, 4th round. So pretty much everybody. So I needed somebody that had a better insight. So I had to bring Solomon in. That was one part. The second part, because he did play the game and as a backup, but what I liked about him, he sat at the feet of some of the greatest players that ever played.
There you go.
And he really is a team player, because I know even when he sought the Lord, he said, I don't want to be the number one. I don't want to be a show off. I don't want, everybody just to think about I'm a one-man team. But Lord, will you teach me how to go out and come in amongst your people? He understood the concept of being a team player. And when somebody has played the game, and yet he's still, in the trenches, and I needed somebody with more than just one role. So then on the top of that, this man, the third part of this man, he has studied the game. He really has studied the game. And I didn't have, a person that's able to understand the defense and offense, and knowing the different slots, the different purposes, and where to really place our energy. And so this Solomon was one of my best picks because, he has a plethora of information down through the years. And then at the end of the day, he was able to articulate to the team that he said, vanity is vanity. All this vanity if you don't know the true essence, of what we're here for. So that's why the big Solomon.
So that wisdom pick, he is a cerebral, smart player, makes plays with his head and not just with his hands. I think that's a solid pick. I heard you with the little going out and coming in reference, talking about playing offense and defense.
Because sometimes you have the right man, but you have placed him in the wrong position.
Yeah.
And he becomes a stumbling block for the whole team. So, and then again, then on the next year, I think we're set up to where we got some choice picks during the first round. And if it hadn't been for Solomon to understand the business, there's a business side of the team. And so I needed somebody to understand the business side also.
Help you plan ahead, think ahead. And of course, all of us, we're not just reacting and responding to the present, the current conditions of the world, the things that are going on in the current season of our life. We need to be playing and making moves and soliciting our prayers to have guidance for how to navigate the present and the future. And Solomon certainly, when given the blank check opportunity to ask God of anything, he asked for wisdom. And that wisdom was a degree of longevity, directly correlated to longevity, clearly, because it gave him the opportunity to not just be a prisoner of the moment, as we would say, but also to think and look ahead and to learn how to acquire information and to manicure that into a set of plays, guidance, what he could do. Yeah.
But then you look at that too, and he brings us into such a great teaching moment, you know, and because he gives us really what's the whole job of the team.
Yeah.
It's not to come in second place, it's to win.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so what's the whole duty of man? Fear God and keep his commandments.
Yes, sir.
And the word duty means job.
Mm-hmm.
Every team player has a job to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and even though his life's experience, I mean, morally, I mean, you know, you don't want to follow him in his footsteps, you know, but then again, he was able to look beyond his failures, and still see the God of the Bible.
Absolutely.
You know, and so even though we look at the team, yes, we didn't have a good season, you know, but because of our failures, it doesn't mean that we're not going to, you know, make it, and we're not going to win. So really, with his experience, overall in 3 areas, I mean, what a choice, what a powerhouse that this man has brought to the team.
Absolutely. Okay. Those are 2 good picks. So just to recap, Mom with her first pick selected Deborah. Dad's first pick was Habakkuk. My first pick was Jochebed, Moses' mother. Then Mom selected Anna. Dad selected Solomon. And my second pick, which would be the 6th pick here in our biblical dream team, I'm gonna have to go with a player that's really built for the modern game, but I believe he could play in any era. And I think there's a lot that we can learn from him as he demonstrated a particular skill set that for us individuals can be the difference between thriving and surviving. I'm going to go with a figure that we all know much about, but I just want to present an angle. I'm going with Joshua.
Good pick.
Joshua came behind literally the friend of God in Moses, right? Joshua, in a particular period of his life, as an understudy of Moses, was one of the 12 spies sent to explore Canaan land. And one thing I like about Joshua, he wasn't rattled by what he saw. He saw opportunity. Joshua wasn't intimidated by what he saw. Were the 10 of the 12 spies that came back and they talked about the giants that were in the land, and they brought back the cluster of grapes that was so big, it was one vine of grapes, one cluster off a vine of grapes that took 2 men to carry on poles. He wasn't intimidated by what he saw and what the perceived might was of the challenge and the circumstances before you. He saw opportunity. He wasn't looking up at the scoreboard to see how much they were up or how much they were down. He wasn't looking at the height of the team, the speed of the team. He wasn't looking at the veteran playoff experience and the championships of his opponents. He was mindful of it. And let me correct my statement. He did look at it, but his focus wasn't on it. You need somebody on your team, and each of us as individuals need that resilience that says no matter what the obstacle is, God is greater. He's greater in us than he who is in the world. He is for us. He's more than the world against us. And Joshua knew that. So Joshua was able to take the foundation of such an incredible general in Moses, yet he still had the contemporary tools to assess what the future promised them and to go after it. He wasn't just caught up in where they came from and the victories that they had over Pharaoh and the Egyptian army and the victories that they had over the wilderness. Joshua said, look, we're not done. We got a much bigger goal, much bigger prize, and I'm not intimidated by the opposition. if I execute my game plan the way God gave it, we're gonna win. It's not about how good you are. It's about how much better I am. So I love Joshua's focus. I love the fact that he was connected to history and didn't dismiss it and didn't discredit it. I love the fact that he still found a way to carve his own lane with his own style, with his own skill set and toolbox, and took the people to a level of success and a realm of achievement that literally the friend of God, Moses, God's greatest general, in my opinion, he surpassed that by being himself, staying focused, and not being and intimidated by the things that he saw and anticipated. So I select Joshua.
Okay. You have a team that's pretty. Okay. Yeah. All right. My third pick again. My third pick.
Man, your pen's moving kind of fast over there. Don't be scratching out no picks. Go ahead, Mom.
Yeah, and actually, I'm looking again. I'm kind of comparing what the both of you have on your teams, and you know who you have, and yeah, who I can match up, and who you had in your first picks. Yeah, your team looks like you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
appreciate that.
Well, his team looks like him too, really.
Well, your team represents you. Your team looks like you. Looking at my team, your team looks like you too.
Yeah. Well, except for John the Baptist. Except John the Baptist. You got John the Baptist on your team, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yes,
okay.
That one's right.
All right. So I picked Esther. And of course, like you said, I know you said it wasn't necessarily gender specific, but I went with the WNBA because I wanted to show that the women have purpose.
Oh, come on.
And so that's the reason why I wanted to go with the women, not necessarily because, you know, I want to go with the women, but I just wanted to show that theme of purpose, because that's been an argument, if you will, down through time. Women in ministry, where do women fit? You know, this is a new age now. We have women or whatever, but they had purpose from the beginning.
There you go.
And so I wanted to, in pulling these out, I wanted to show purpose, really. So Esther, and going back to the team, again, looking at the team, Esther is the secret weapon on the team. Ooh. The team always should have a secret weapon. She didn't have the look of a warrior and a fighter, because the scripture describes her as a beautiful woman. So she didn't have the look necessarily of a warrior. She had the look of a beautiful woman, a queen or whatever, if you will, but not with all the virtues that she had. So she was the secret weapon because of her capabilities, because of her intellect, and she was a virtuous woman as well. Where it looked like at one point that she was going to maybe let her guard down, is where she kept strong. And, you know, she said that she was going to go and fast for her people, where she was unselfish, but she asked the people, she had enough wisdom to ask the people to fast with her so she could have some backup, some more strength. And in that, she didn't have the fear. She knew what she was going to do, as in going before the king. She could lose her life. So she was fearless as well. She knew she had to have, well, I think in knowing who she was, even though she wasn't the queen in the beginning, but she knew that her role was very vital. So she knew she couldn't break. So in her seeking the Lord, seeking the strength of the people to back her, and her secret weapon too was prayer.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times we look at prayer as a form of weakness. We'll tell people go to prayer, at their weak time, but prayer is really a form of strength. So she knew who she was. She knew she was a woman of purpose too.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe if I could talk to her today, that she would say, I knew because prayer was on my side that I was going to be able to overturn the king's creed, what he had already sent out. So for that reason, I selected Esther.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That's a good pick. Oh man. Yeah, okay.
So see, I have 3 women, and all 3 of them, they all had strength and they were fearless.
You got
and
a
they all had purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Because Deborah, well, she was called a prophetess as well as Anna.
Yeah. Yes.
They both were prophetess, but they also had to be fearless in what they did and what God called them to do. And they had to have great faith.
Mm-hmm.
Because I believe that, at a point, Deborah could have easily said, because Barak is the man that's going to lead us in, he's the captain of the army here, mm-hmm. And even though I know what the Lord told me, but, she could have backed up even. She could have said, but he's the captain. So just her knowing her place, knowing what she was. And when I say know her place, it doesn't mean it was secondary, but just knowing her place. Sometimes you have to know that you're the support system to the whole business, to making things go, Mm-hmm. So a lot of times you have to know even that, and then you have to use the wisdom, because God tells you to do something. Sometimes it doesn't mean that you have to run over top of the leader, the king.
Right.
Sometimes the power comes from behind.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah. So we know, we look at all the people who can shoot, the offense, we can look at them all day, and even on the football team. Mm-hmm. But it's the defense who makes the offense. If they don't clear the way, the offense, they can't shoot the shot or make the goal.
You know what? All I'm gonna say, and I'm not making this a formal allegation, but I want your team tested for performance enhancing drugs. That's all I'm gonna say. I want everybody tested and make sure ain't nobody taking nothing additional and special, in this competition. Because the way that team looked, I don't know.
Yeah.
The prophetess, Deborah, fighting through, being the 4th and the 1st and only judge, and we know 4 is the number of grace. Anna, Esther, performance enhancing drugs. I just want to test. I'm not accusing anybody of nothing, but I just want to make sure this is a completely fair fight. Dan, what you got?
Well, I mean, I'll be transparent.
I'm just saying, I got my eyes on y'all.
I'll be transparent. Our steroid is the spirit of God. That's all I'm gonna say.
She cooking, Doc.
That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
Now
Man,
what court are you gonna take her to?
I ain't taking it nowhere.
Wow. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
I had two choices because I had my scout had brought another person in, but I think I'm gonna go with my gut feeling, and I made a pick because I was up late, and I had two choices. So, want me to tell you my choice, but who I end up? No, I'm not gonna tell you because I might need him later on. No, it's just no. You know, I thought about Ezekiel, but I said no. But I went to my last, and I had to stay up at night. So I went to, and I'm gonna choose Titus. Titus is an unknown young man, and there's little known about Titus. Titus was one that we found out in Colorado, up on the other side of the Continental, right before the Continental Divide, you know. And so he was a young man, and there's not much said about him. And he's one of the ones that you don't find too often. He literally almost, you know, they broke the mold when they made him. But here's this young man that one of the greatest players that ever walked this earth found, observed an anointing upon his life, Paul. And Paul was giving this young man so much like he did Tim. Paul, you know, let me know that he also discovered Timothy. Now, I'm just letting you know that some of his background. So when Paul told me and let me know about Timothy, and then he said, I have someone like Timothy that I want you to meet and to recruit for your team. He had the ability, Titus has the ability to talk to not just his generation, but he's able to communicate with the older generation. Actually, when I talked to him, you know, I went back as far as Wilt Chamberlain, and Wilt Chamberlain was noted, you know, for his 3-point shooting, but he shot underhand. He didn't go over top. He shot underhand, 3-point, and then Titus would, and I was really amazed, and he talked about Bill Russell. I said, oh my goodness, you know. And so when I was talking to him,
You're reaching.
he had did the study, and he has a gift of communicating and to bridge the gap between the old school players and the young school players. Not saying that he's on the same level, but I could hear some conversation about Jesus, you know, when the prophet talked about the breaker has come. And Christ, the bridge, he was able to bridge the old and the new together, you know. And so a very unknown, but this man is so powerful. You know how powerful that he is, and maybe one of your team players crossed him one time or another. Because I heard him talking to one, I don't know, it was Deborah or Anna, but he said, you know, you age women teach the young women also, you know, how to live this life. So, I mean, this man's able to talk to the women, the older women, he's able to talk to the older men, to the younger men. And so his communication level to bring our team together. I mean, to tell me. And who was a young man that played for, I think someplace in Iowa? He was a short player, wasn't that tall, but he was really good, you know, in the state of Iowa. I think down at the University of Iowa he played or something. But anyway.
Oh, he took, well, they thought he was going to take
Yeah, well,
Jordan's spot.
well, you know what I'm talking about,
Played
don't
for
you?
the Bulls.
Yeah.
What
was it?
Who?
BJ Armstrong?
BJ.
Yeah, I think BJ,
BJ,
you know,
yeah,
and
because he played with Roy Marble.
yeah, you know, BJ, and because
BJ.
you know Titus was up out there, and Titus let him know, man, listen, even though your stature's not that, you know, you're not that tall, don't let it, because you have some abilities, you know, that no other have, and sometimes when you do trench work, you have to be able to, you know, take your height and go down into the trenches and do the work. So I like Titus. So Titus, I mean, come on, man. I mean, I stayed up half the night, and so when I ended up,
Okay.
That's good
Titus
scouting.
was my pick.
Good scout.
Well,
Good
thank
scout.
you.
That's good scouting. We got 9 minutes, so I will bring.
Oh, you gonna take the whole? And you gonna take the whole
No.
9 minutes up?
I don't even need them. First, I just want to congratulate the two of you all for picking very, very formidable teams. This is not an easy exercise.
Wait for what?
Certainly, there's a very big and talented pool. There's a very deep pool of draft picks for us to select from, and I think the two of you all have done the very best you can do, and I applaud that.
Well, no. I think. Excuse me for a minute. I think no, because half. The rest of the half has not been told yet. So
Yeah,
I
still gotta pick it.
Yeah, but I don't think it was the very best. But go ahead.
I just want to applaud you on doing the best you can do. I think you all did excellent.
It seemed like I kind of feel a sarcastic applaud. I don't know, but you know.
Well, I mean, if the best you can do wins a championship, or if the best you can do gets you to the first or second,
are you really going to accept this?
The best you can do is the best you can do. You know.
Well, you know, I mean, I'm used to people patronizing me and everything, but you know.
But go ahead and bring your team player on.
I got Jochebed, who is the mother of Moses. I have and her great faith, her stealth, her discretion. You can't follow her eyes. You can't read the play by her movements or her position on the floor. She did an excellent job, not only putting faith in action, but she again knew how to not give the play away to the enemy. Joshua, fantastic, was not intimidated by anything. Nerves, the boy had ice in his veins. Joshua could deliver no matter what was stacked up against him, literally. And my final pick, Gideon.
Oh.
Like Mom said, you got to have a secret weapon.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I didn't pick a flawless player. I didn't pick someone, as Dad talked about on the draft boards. Gideon wasn't necessarily a high draft pick. There's a lot of folks that both of you are rightfully selected that should have been picked ahead of Gideon. But there's something I know that y'all don't know about Gideon.
All right.
And when we're talking about a team,
he drunk a lot of wine, and he was behind.
No. We all know that. You know, there's footage on that. You know,
okay.
He apologized and he learned his lesson. He served his probation period. He was suspended from the team. You know. The one thing I love about Gideon, we all would think that it's upon us individually, right?
He wrote his own Bible, right? He wrote his own playbook.
No.
Yes, in every hotel.
That's hilarious. Second drawer at the Holiday Inn, baby. No. Gideon understood that this is a team effort. We are a part of a body of Christ. It's not just us on our own. And what Gideon understood is while in competition and competing, you all have great teams. If you keep your three together, Mom, you might beat my three. Dad, if you keep your three together, you might beat my three. But sometimes other players are going to get injured. Sometimes other players are going to be fatigued. Sometimes other players got things going on in their personal life and they can't keep their head in the game. And Gideon literally took an army that started out with 32,000 teammates who weren't all fit for battle. They were good in the regular season, but they weren't built for the playoffs. And they certainly weren't built for the championship game. Gideon took a ragtag group of personnel, shrunk down from 32,000 to 300, and won the game by getting in the enemy's head so bad that the enemy missed all their shots. And then they started fighting among one another.
But Deborah was by his side too. They just didn't write that part.
See, Gideon got in their heads so bad that the other team started fighting during the game.
Yes.
He understood that everybody that starts out with you aren't going to finish with you.
Right.
He understood that some of us are relatives and friends and we grew up together and we're in the same denomination and we're in the same city, but sometimes our different visions and the different things we go through pull us in separate ways. And you know what? Gideon let it go. He wasn't bitter. He wasn't focused on his haters. He wasn't yelling back at the crowd. He wasn't mad because of the folks that misexecuted, poorly executed plays, and sometimes when he was open for the shot, they didn't pass it to him. Gideon wasn't worried about all that. He said,
You said,
my sister, I forgive you. But I'm focused on what the Lord has equipped me with. And I'm going to follow his instructions no matter who else is playing, no matter who falls away. And Gideon, for me, is the secret weapon because he can take a team that maybe isn't 100% healthy and he can win that group. So for my team, I need somebody who isn't just looking at the starting lineup and says, we need these players to finish this race and this fight with me. In this life, no matter who drops off, who turns against me, who turns on me, who's looking at me, who's hating, who's criticizing, who said they were going to do something for me, who was supposed to make an introduction for me, who was supposed to lend me money in my time of need, who was supposed to come at the hospital and visit me. Gideon said, y'all folks go home. I'm going to take whoever is real and whoever is there for the same purpose I am, and we're going to do this thing. And Gideon is my secret weapon. So that's my last pick.
Did you say that he was saying just let it go?
Now that was Elphaba, wasn't it?
No, I thought when you said Gideon was just talking about let it go. I thought, does he have a sister named Amaya? Or that's because the Maya always sings a song, Let It Go. Who was that?
That's Elphaba from Frozen.
Yeah, so
yeah.
Gideon was,
he knew how to let it go. He knew how to let it go. So Gideon is my secret weapon. That's my last pick.
Well, I think, I'm not even, with the comments that you made about my team and my pick, and whatnot, I'm not going to respond with the same.
I just said I applaud your best effort.
But I think you got a pretty good team.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have picked them, but you got a good team.
Well, I tell you what, thank you both for engaging with me. We've run up to our time. This was absolutely fun and sincere. I hope, again, for those who are watching, you all take the opportunity. And I know how it gets. Sometimes in your devotionals, you just run up against the wall sometime. And when I say devotional, I just mean the time that you spend with God, the time that you spend in your word, the time that you spend reflecting on your purpose and what God has for you to do. And I hope that us illuminating and shining the light on these characters can inspire you all to look up and research some of their stories. They're humans like we are. They're folks who were flawed, who had real challenges, who had fear, folks who faced pandemics in the Bible. You know,
Yes.
you know, and I think there's a lot that we can learn from some of these examples. So again, by no means would we ever rate the greatest people of the Bible, because they're folks that represent they're essentially a cloud of witnesses who
Yeah.
all reflect something that each of us will see some of ourselves in. So I hope that this exercise inspires you all to look into these folks. So check out Biblical Dream Team Part 1, which was last week with Dad and myself, and Mom was here this week, and the three of us engaged this exercise. And we got to get a poll up, William. When we get a chance, we got to get a poll up and just get some feedback from the viewers, just to see what they thought about those results. I don't want to have to say I won, so I need the viewers to go ahead and say I
You did not.
the viewers to vote. The viewers to vote. Freudian slip.
Now, viewers, let me remind you.
We can do one right now.
That my steroid is legit. It was illegal.
You're banned
It's
from the Texas
available
Olympics,
to
Mom.
everybody. It's not discriminatory. It's legal. It's available to everybody.
Y'all banned
Even
from the
all.
Olympics, from FIBA competitions. Y'all are banned. We stripping y'all of gold medals in the past.
But we can have your team. You know, we need everybody playing on the court. We don't need nobody hovering over top of the court. You know, dunking. You can walk water. You know,
They just flying.
Yeah, you just flying across the court. You ain't even, dribbling. So,
Oh my goodness! But yes, I enjoyed this time with you all. I enjoyed this
Y'all wanna wait?
conversation.
I published the poll to see what they say.
What did you say?
well, I
He
think
said he published a poll to see what they say.
Oh,
If we're going to wait a little
excellent,
bit.
excellent,
But
excellent.
You know what? This was really fun.
Yeah.
It's really good. If I had known this is what I was going to do today, I would have studied and tried to find some really good stuff,
Oh, you had some.
So, yes, but I mean, so I just wanted y'all to know I picked the best team and I didn't even study. That's all I was saying. But however, yeah.
Oh,
No,
man.
this comes from, this comes from what I learned over the years. So, you know what I'm saying. But anyway, you said something really striking. You said, to just encourage the people to study. But, this sparked me again. I'm like, yeah, I know about all of these that we have mentioned, but I'm going to go back and look at them again and see, yeah, what else would I pull out, to be on the team to win,
Yeah.
It's good. This is good. This is good. And it's these kind of things, again, serving the Lord is not boring.
Yes.
It's what you make it.
Yeah.
And even something like this is like, man, if you look and see the characteristics of these people, their purpose, study them and see what they possess, see what they went, through and all that kind of stuff. That encourages us to go just a little bit further,
But what you did,
And to mark the perfect man or
Yeah.
woman.
and
Yeah.
these ones that we have discussed for these 2 Sundays, we are on the same team.
Yes.
Exactly.
We really are on the same team, because the Bible lets us know that we are, I think you said it, we are compassed about
Yes, sir.
with such a greater cloud. These have witnessed
Mhm.
what we're going through today.
Yeah.
Different year, but under the same sun and under the same moon,
Yeah.
under the same sky.
Yeah.
So the things, sometimes we think we're the only one going through.
Yeah.
But on our team that played years ago, before Wilt Chamberlain, played, we're all on the same team.
Mhm.
And is this the reason why that we couldn't pick Jesus?
Are you asking?
Yes, sir.
That's the cheat code. Like, Jesus come out on the floor, snap his fingers, and the whole and I'm not making light.
That's who you want on your team.
I'm saying.
And thank God he's on our team.
I wouldn't even pick a team. If Jesus were available, I would literally pick Jesus and no one beside him.
Well, isn't it a blessing that we picked that we're on the right team?
Yeah.
Isn't it a blessing that we have Jesus
We got the
on our
MVP,
team?
Undefeated. Oh my
Hallelujah,
Undefeated.
Jesus.
Yeah, and then as you said it, this is even a good reminder, as we, William, I see you put the poll up. Make sure people know who was on the team,
It's in there. Each one of your teams in there.
Okay, you all, before you vote, make sure you review the teams for this week.
They're voting.
Are they voting?
They're voting right now.
Yeah, don't vote along generational lines.
Can you post it?
Yeah, it says that you can show it in the video. Hold on.
Oh, he's gonna post it.
It's up right now.
Oh, you see it.
See, but there's a demographic of viewer that's unable to catch these live. So there's going to be votes that come in well after this episode airs.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to see how that turns out. And again, like Dad, what you were saying, let us also remember that our lives are epistles that are being written. And it's not about, the mistakes, and it's not about, the skeletons and the closet and all of that. It's about, are we going to be on the right side of history? Are we going to make the hard choices? Are we going to put forth our best effort? Are we going to learn from our setbacks? And are we going to leave a legacy that inspires someone? Because certainly all of these figures, we could have picked apart and talked about decisions they made. And with our foresight, we could say things that we would do different from them.
Mm-hmm.
But
Indeed,
the traits that they have, what can we learn from and grow from? And that's something that we all should hope and strive for. So that's this week. That's this episode of Chatting with the Clays. Thank you all for participating. Thank you all for enjoying such a lighthearted and excellent exercise. And thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell, and make sure that you like. That way other people can be blessed and follow this content as well. So thank you. We will see you all next week. So I'll hang on to chat with you, Mom and Dad.
Thank you. Love you. Thank you.
Be blessed of God. My brothers and sisters, I pray that this was a blessing unto you. First Lady Clay, would you like to say anything?
Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell. Leave a comment. God bless.